Hello, everybody, and welcome to Passport to Design. This is the show where we talk about everything design business. I'm your host, Christina Richardson, and I was born in the northern part, very, very northern part of Sweden, many, many moons ago. I am a designer at heart, but I have a past as a construction and mechanical engineer. And in my 40s, I made the jump. I switched careers and now I run an international design business. And I'm here to show you that expanding your business and working remotely, even internationally, it's doable. And if you want it, it can happen. It's all about being open to broaden your horizons. Today's guests, we have a different type of guest today because it's not really a designer. It's more of a design brand. And I'm so excited. Stemming from the same area in Sweden as IKEA. They're blurring their lines between art and function. Their pieces can be found in the most luxurious settings, and it's art, it's glass, and oh my gosh, welcome, Emon Maasho of Kosta Boda and Orrefors Glass, CEO of the whole thing in both Canada and America. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Christina. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor. And I'm super excited for this conversation that we're going to have today. Yes, you're right. We come from the same place, very close by where you can find IKEA, in the southern forest of Sweden. You literally drive I'm born and raised a little bit more south from you in Stockholm. And then if you drive for 5 more hours and you drive 4.5 of those hours are through black forest, it's completely dark. Usually I drive, it's fall, is not that much sun. And then you go. And then after 4.5 hours, you find this beautiful small location called Kosta, where we today produce the majority of our assortment in our glass factory that was actually founded in 1742. So it's a magical place there.
Yes, it sounds very mythical, and it is when you get there. It's kind of, it's mythical. I would encourage everybody to go. Everybody, all of you listening, watching, you have to go to Kosta.
And we actually now have, since a couple of years back, a crystal hotel. So when you go there, it's not only seeing the production, but also be able to live in get the full experience, the full glass experience all the way. So everything from the bar is completely, the chairs, the table, everything is crystal, made in our production a couple of feet away. And then you have I think we're one of the few, or maybe the only swimming pool that actually have an art exhibition inside of the pool that you can see while you're swimming. So it's a very unique place, I have to say.
Oh my gosh, everybody, let's go. We're just gonna make a trip. We're coming.
You're welcome. More than welcome. That's good.
So how are you? I know you just got back to New York, right?
Yeah, so I spent 2 weeks in Stockholm, and then I spent in Kosta. So 1 week in Kosta, 1 week in Stockholm, and then I spent 2 weeks in Eritrea, where I'm originally from. I'm born and raised in Sweden, but my family, we come originally from Eritrea in East Africa. So I've had the most wonderful summer. I got a little bit of everything.
Nice.
So I'm super happy and rested.
Eritrea sounds very hot because it's hot here in Nevada right now. But Eritrea sounds very
hot. But it's good because the thing is it's their winter season more or less right now, or their rainy season. So it's almost like a lot of Swedish people like to go to Thailand. It's the same. So it's the rain season, it's the summertime. So a lot of Swedish people go in the winter time because that's the hot time. So it's the same with where Eritrea positioned. So it wasn't too bad. It was like 65. A little bit cloudy, super. It was much warmer here in New York, where it's like close above the hundreds. So it's no, but it was. I had a great time meeting family, and I think it's important. Like what we really try as a Swedish company, even if we were here in the United States and New York, we really try to push our team to as much as we can to have proper vacation when it's time for summer. It's very appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Sweden stops in July and August, and it's different. But I mean, it's it's really good for everybody.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
have it, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I know you're a super busy man, and I'm super appreciative of the fact that you can carve out some time for us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so can you tell us a little bit about like how did you get here? Like Eritrea, Stockholm, or not Eritrea,
Yeah,
but basically, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
Stockholm, and then like, were you a big fan of Kosta Boda before you got this position? How did you get here?
Yeah. So it was I had a complete different. I was when I graduated from school, I just needed like 1 year where I was not having like a super serious job. I just wanted to have something like fun and be able to have the flexibility to travel and do fun things. So I was working for this indoor playground. I started doing I was working hourly there. And long story short, I ended up, and I was planning to only work there 1 year. It ended up being 7 years, and I ended up going from doing the dishes and serving coffee, and we had a coffee shop and food and ice cream for the children, and it ended up going from that to 7 years later when we decided to sell the business. I was now a partner and equity partner and the CEO. So that was my journey, in 7 years with that organization. So I got a little bit stuck there. And then when my time was right and I felt it was time for me to move on, the majority owner of that business also actually owned Orrefors Kosta Boda. So I didn't have that much of a choice. I was planning to say, okay, now I'm going to do my travels for this year. That would have been perfect for me. That was like, okay. But he said, nope, not yet. I need you to come over here and work and help us with Orrefors Kosta Boda. And I'm going to introduce you tomorrow to the CEO. So he did that. A couple of months later, they created a new position, Orrefors, that was founded in 1898. Over 100 years old. Has always focused on wholesale, retail, and corporate business, and gifting and B2B, but. And they were now going to launch a new area called hospitality. And they said, okay, we want you to head the hospitality. We know nothing about hospitality. So it's perfect for you because you know nothing about glass and we know nothing about hospitality. So let's learn as much as we can. Yeah, let's learn. And then let's just, learn as much as we can. And so we launched that and that was in 2013. So this year I'm celebrating 11 years with the business. So that's how I started. And then I did that for a couple of like a year or so. And then, times take, with time and life, it takes you to very exciting places if you're open to it. And if you're, and I always been, one of my strengths has been, networking and meeting right people and working to, and always be trying to support the people around me and so on. So if you give, things comes back to you. And not to make the answer too long, but then 5 years into my position at Orrefors Kosta Boda, I then asked I needed a little bit bigger challenge after 5 years. So instead of deciding to just move on and leave my employer, I went back to him and said, I need a bigger challenge, but I don't want to leave. I love the design world. I love working with glass and crystal and meeting, everything from interior designers to being invited to the Swedish royal family because we did the gastronomy with some of our clients. We did hospitality. They were celebrating 70 years old. The gastronomy of Stockholm was celebrating like a 70-year-old celebration. So I was invited to that. So I got this high and low opportunities in Sweden, thanks to Orrefors being such a heritage brand and being a purveyor to the royal family and so on. But I said, okay, I need a bigger challenge now. And he said, what do you have in mind? And I said, I want to work with the glass, but in English, and learn the American and North American markets. And I can't get a bigger challenge than going to the biggest market that we have and where the biggest opportunity are. And that will be a huge challenge for me. So he said, are you sure about this? I said, no, not really, but let's do it. And then he said, okay, so you've been here for 5 years, so let's inform the board. And then they gave me this opportunity.
Oh my goodness. So it's that was probably, one of the famous moments,
Yeah. Yes.
you.
Exactly.
So listening to you, actually I have two questions just listening to you. And I think our audience might be a bit confused with Kosta Boda and Orrefors. what is it? One company? Is it two companies? What's going on here?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I think that that is one of the questions we get the most frequently. So it's one company but two brands. So Kosta Boda, you can see here on behind me on this end, it's colorful, it's artistic, it's lifestyle, it's everything more or less the way of doing. Kosta Boda has a very strong personality, every item. The artists are complete and the designers are completely different from the ones we have in Orrefors. But if we focus on Kosta Boda's heritage goes back to 1742. So it's older than United States. Kosta Boda has always been in the forefront when it comes to art within crystal. Was also one of the first crystal brands in the world that had designers that was not only doing, if you go back to the majority of the glass brands that you have today, a lot of them, or so us Orrefors, we were doing medicine jars and for medical, those amber brown where you have your medicine, or in Sweden kitchens, where you have your flour and sugar, those things in your built into the kitchens. That was our core business back in the days, and a lot of jars and bottles. But then when we got these designers, they started to make sculptures and art objects and other things that could just be beautiful things to have at your home. So Kosta Boda is, I think, very clear here, like what you see, like vases and sculptures, and it could be a small votive that looks like a skull, or one of our most famous, we're going to talk about it maybe a little bit later, but like we have this snowball that is votive, one of our most sold votives in the world, that is actually just here behind me.
Oh my God.
It looks like a snowball, so you can have it beautifully in your home, but it's actually a votive too. So you have this two in one, and when you put down a tea candle, it just comes out beautifully. This beautiful pattern on the table.
Yes, it's
and
so beautiful.
And it celebrates 50 years this year, so that's quite exciting. I think that we have items that's been so long with us.
Yeah.
And that is still active in our assortment. So Kosta Boda is all about artistic, lifestyle, color, strong identities. And then we also have one more tier on Kosta Boda, that is the art that we have. So we actually do limited edition and unique pieces that is art.
Yep.
If you take Orrefors on my other side here, this is the official Nobel collection that we launched in 1998. Yep. That is still today. It's on the Nobel Peace Dinner every year. They have a couple of thousand people eating dinner at the same time, and they drink from these glasses. What you see here is hand painted with 21 karat real gold. It's mouth blown. It's handmade in Sweden, in Kosta. So Orrefors is from 1898, a little bit younger. But it also, Orrefors actually celebrated 100 years in the United States last year. So it's been even in the United States for a very long time. But Orrefors is all about, this is one of the few collections that actually have color. Orrefors is much more clear crystal. We do both brands, lead-free crystal, very sustainable. But Orrefors is very minimalistic. So the exact opposite to everything that Kosta Boda stands for is Orrefors when it comes to the expression. So it's more contemporary, minimalistic, clear crystal, more, I would say it's harder, I would say, without offending any of our designers, but to be able to design something that is so strong but still minimalistic is a very big challenge.
Oh, it's hard. It's
very hard.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take away the success, the incredible things that we're doing at Kosta Boda, but it's just two complete different expressions.
Yeah, I can see that. You know what, when you talk, my eyes just goes to this amazing gorilla. Or is it a gorilla?
Yeah, it's a gorilla. It's called Gabba Gabba Hey.
Can we have a closer look at the gorilla, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's so much fun. What is it?
Yeah. So it's a mouth blown, hand painted gorilla here in pink. We actually have it in 6 different colors. And this is, an example on items that, Kosta Boda can do. Orrefors would never do an item like this. But this is just playful, beautiful, stands out, and looks super cool.
Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. So funny. And the snowball. I mean, the snowball, I think every Swedish family has this.
Absolutely. And actually, we have sold till this day 15 million snowballs. since we launched it 50 years ago. So we actually had one of our new young talents, Hannah Hansdotter. We gave her as a project for this year, for the 50th anniversary, to take this snowball and create an homage item. So please go into our website, kostaboda.us, and look up the item called the Rock. So it's like the iceberg. So her idea was, the snowball comes down from the iceberg. And just stunning piece that have had really good feedback and reaction. We're actually doing a limited edition version for Bloomingdale's this coming winter or fall.
Okay, can you give us the date so we can kind of line up?
Yeah, we're going to be 10 selected doors, and I believe it's mid-October, if I'm not completely wrong. Mid-October.
Okay, we'll be camping outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
That's very
problem
fun.
at all.
That's good.
So going back to that moment, I can't say any bad words here, but
no.
so yeah, but I mean, here you are, you're moving to the United States. Like, what was, so there's like, it's kind of twofold, because it's, first of all, the on the private, like personal side, so much to take in, a new culture, everything's done differently, or a lot of things are done differently. And then also on the business side, because you had been running a business in Sweden, right? And then you come to the US. What's your experience with like the differences in running a business in Europe, Sweden versus United States? Do you see like a big difference there running a business?
Yes, there's definitely a lot of big differences. I will tell you one thing that I was a little bit surprised of. I can only speak for myself, but like my picture of the United States and how, when you look at, films and movies growing up in Sweden, because like the majority of the films we watch is American films in Sweden. And my understanding, my thought looking at those was like the Americans are like tough in negotiation. It's very like hard on, it's like very tough, but it's much more, I would say, kind and not as tough as I thought it would be. And I really appreciate that. People are extremely friendly. Or at least the people that we work with and the people that have, come in contact, interior designers, we work with a lot of interior designers and department stores and smaller stores. People are incredibly friendly and, have a good business mind. They want to find opportunity. It's like, working here in North America, like it's like everyone here are like born business people.
Yes.
So I'm very, it's like,
I agree.
And I think like that makes it so extremely fun that every interaction with a new person, it's on such a high level. And we met with our department store yesterday that had a new assistant buyer, and it just came in, and a young girl, but she was so on top of it. I was like, oh my God, like so impressive how like sharp she was. And also, I'm not saying this, I'm just because like, I'm just going to myself. How was I when I was 22 years old? So like age has no, like it's not important here, because like people here are so advanced compared to how I've been used to maybe in my previous job, even if the Swedish people are very smart too. But it's just like the business side is very sharp, and they understand the consumer very well. That has been one of the challenges. I don't know if you lived here longer than I have.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And do you think that it has something to do with, because my experience is also like Americans are very social, and I think they learn a different social code. Like
absolutely.
earlier, Swedes are a little more like held back. Not everybody. I don't want to, say that everybody is like that, but I mean, just walking around on the streets, you have like 4 conversations in a day with people you don't even know, and in Sweden you're like,
absolutely. I think I spoke with like 2 different people now just on the subway 2 to the office today that like just like casually just became a conversation. And I think that is absolutely, you know, a very big difference compared, at least from Stockholm. You know, you are from a little bit more, you know, I'm from Stockholm. It's a little bit tougher maybe there, but you're from a more nicer place of Sweden. But like people in Stockholm, like we don't communicate too much with each other on the bus. And like you said, you can't say every person from Stockholm, but growing up there, you know, my whole life, except from the last 5 years when I've been in New York, it is a huge difference. Like I have spoken with more people in the subways and bus or on the street in New York than I've done, I think, in my last 20 years in Sweden, going around on the subway or on the street in Stockholm. So people are extremely friendly and social, and I really, really appreciate doing business here, but also just walking on the street here is very pleasant. And I'm a huge fan of Stockholm. I love Stockholm and the people and the restaurant thing, but there is a difference. And it's nice, but yeah, but I think overall I'm very I think it's a little bit more developed. Things goes quicker here. People have a lot of things going on at the same time. The competition is 10 times tougher. Coming as a very strong heritage brand in Sweden, where we have Orrefors Kosta Boda has, I think when we did a study, kind of been like maybe 10 years ago, we had roughly 96 or 95% brand recognition if the person was over 25 years old in Sweden. Yeah. In United States, you know, today I would say is like 1% maybe. And so that is one of the challenges. So for me, that is an extreme opportunity. I see as extreme opportunity for us for growth, but also the good thing with that is like in the circles that we are in, you know, if you talk about Neiman Marcus or Bloomingdale's or Saks or Bergdorf Goodman or Gary's or Gums in San Francisco, in those like people, we are very well known, and people in that industry really knows us. So that's a good thing, and that helps us make sure that we get really good positions in the stores, and we get those stores that we want to, because we have really good partners that we worked with for almost 100 years in some cases. Yeah.
But it must be a challenge too, because the new generation coming, like how do you balance keeping your signature look or your brand, and then kind of starting catering to a younger generation? That must be pretty hard.
Yeah, yes and no, but I think like, you know, everything has to develop, you know, everything has to evolve, and we have, like I mentioned before, we have Hanna Hansdotter, Åsa Gnelius, and this is our names, our designers and artists that we have in house, that I think they are, you know, designing products that speaks more maybe also to the young generation, because they themselves are in the same age, so we have a big trust in our partners like designers and artists and so on, that and product managers, that they are, you know, they're out there, they're speaking with right people, they are, you know, doing speeches at different schools, design schools and so on. So they are, or panel talks, so they are in that bubble, and then they create products that we hope of course, and we're seeing are speaking more to the new young generation. One of the challenges we've had in the past is that when we did a very small study in Sweden, is that some of our collections that we've had for a very long time, some primarily on drinkware, was that we saw that the new generation did not want to have the same glasses as their parent or their grandparent. So they said, no, that reminds me of how my mother had it, and that's not the vibe that I want to have when I'm creating my own home. So what we did is we knew that we had a lot of design elements our designers had created. Like we invented the technique where you get color inside of the stem. So we, for example, have a collection called Intermezzo with Orrefors Intermezzo Blue. So we have blue inside of the stem. So we said yeah, you have it. Okay, nice. So like and we were very successful. Like during COVID, we had like this incredible increase of sales in this collection, and we did not understand why in the United States, like in Canada. We were, you know, some SKUs were 600 to 1,000% up during, you know, a very short time, and yeah, it was insane. And we brought in more inventory from Sweden, and it sold out in seconds. And then we got one of the department stores buyers informed me on a meeting and said, I'm not sure if you know, but Drake posted on his Instagram that he has the collection now.
Oh,
I just knew that we had a VIP client 6 months before that we had to fly in a huge quantity to someone, but we did not know who the end user was. We sent it to our department store in William Ashley in Canada. So their customer was this interior designer that worked with Drake. So that also helped boost the collection that we've had for 40 years, now had a peak again that exploded. But what we saw that, what we heard from our young generation is that they might not want to have the same collection as their parent. So we went through the designer and shared this information with Erika, one of our top designers. She's worked for us for 50 years. Mm-hmm. And she said, okay, but let me come back with you. So she created a collection called Metropole, where we are doing this, the blue drop is now a black drop, more, it's stunning. And then instead of having this traditional tulip shape of the glass, she made it a little more edgier and more younger. And that became a big success for us. That is very popular, and that is speaking much more to the new younger generation. And that's what we're seeing. So there is way that we're finding, both with being truthful and honest to our design DNA, with our designers that we have worked with for a long time, but also giving them the brief of like, how can we talk with the new generation.
Yeah, so interesting. And I know, like, so many of our viewers and everybody listening here, I mean, 99% are designers, and they're sitting here wondering, how can we connect with you? Do you do like internships as designers? Do you do collabs with interior designers here in the United States? How can they interact with you if they're interested?
Yeah, they can please reach out to us. We just had an intern that worked here from our New York showroom from FIT and here in New York, and she did for 3 months. And we are very open. Anything we can do to support the new generation, or it doesn't have to only be the new generation. Anyone that feels that they are excited or interested in learning more about glass and the glass industry, and want to be part of the journey, on having these 2 incredible Swedish heritage brands. And also, we get so much out of meeting new people. So if we get the opportunity to have, get some new, blood into the group, and they can come with their perspectives from outside, like, we're very open to that. So you can easily reach out to us. And then another way is also that when it comes to design, so when it comes to designing products for us, we work through, we have a design team in Sweden, but we have a lot of people that do reach out to us here in the United States. So we make sure that they get introduced to our creative director, David, that works from Sweden. So we always make that interaction and connection. And if we have people that can help us, design products that would work well for the US market, we're always open to that.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. And so what's in the pipeline right now? Like, what's happening? Do you have any news to share?
So yeah, we actually have a big trade show coming up called the New York Tabletop Show. So all of the major department stores, smaller stores, moms and pops, all kind of stores within tabletop, they will come into the 41 Madison building here, where we sit in New York, where our showroom is. It's an incredible building, because as a designer, you should definitely make sure to come to this building, because more or less all the brands in our industry are in the same building. So it's a very convenient way of seeing multiple brands and getting meetings and showing to prospects and clients. So yeah, so we're very excited about that. That's where we launch all of our newness that will more or less go into, you will start seeing in stores starting maybe January. So we are a little bit ahead. So in October, we show what will start being in stores January, February for next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's cool. Yeah.
So everybody go to New York.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, come to New York. We're here. So that's very exciting. So that's one of the bigger thing we do. And then we do have something what we call go to market. So me and a couple of my team, we will fly to our factory in Kosta and do that 5-hour drive in the forest. And we'll then get presented what we are planning to launch for fall 2025. So we get a little bit presentation there, 2 seasons away, so 1 year ahead. we start seeing on what will be the focus and how we go to market. We will see the marketing, the design. We'll meet the designers to be able to ask them questions about what were you thinking when you created this? What is the unique selling point here? So we started having those conversations because they have been working on it on the product development team for 3 years maybe. And then when it's 1 year left, we get involved, and then we start getting our own, so we can start creating the US market material.
Interesting. So it's a very long process before
it's a long process. It's a very long process. People do, we get a lot of like requests for collaboration, and they're like, oh, we want to do something this fall, and it's not that it's not that easy usually. It takes a little bit of time. It's a great thing.
It's I just have one question. So we this is gonna be silly, but so I bought a Volvo a couple of years when we lived in Toronto, and when I came to pick it up, it had a, the shift gear knob.
Yep.
It's Orrefors.
Yeah, you see.
What a brilliant collab that was. Yeah. And
no, it's super exciting. We're very proud of that partnership, and Volvo, as another Swedish brand, founded in Sweden too. Beautiful cars, safe cars, and so they reached out to us many years ago to see if we can do something. Their chief designer wanted to add something more Swedish inside of the car that stood for quality and design, and so he came up to us, and we started having conversations, and we launched it in one of the new big SUVs that they have, and it's just a stunning, beautiful object to have in, like, it's not what you would expect.
No, it's a conversation starter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not kidding. Like, I get, if not every month, but every second month, I get a text from some friend that is in a Volvo car from, and they're like, oh my God, you have I saw Orrefors Crystal Gear Shift. So it's really been a fruitful and incredible partnership. But also it's cool to see that glass could be so much more than a drinking glass. And I think that's what has made Orrefors and Kosta Boda live for so long. Even though Kosta Boda is 282 years old, is thanks to we not only do a vase or a glass, we do so much more. And I'm not going to bore you out with everything we do, but we do a lot of different things with the material glass, because it's a sustainable material. It's a beautiful material. It's a high quality, and it's very strong. Crystal is a very strong material. So the durability is very good. No, but that's very exciting, that project.
Yeah, it is. And my husband freaked out because I came home with a new car, and he got into the car and he's like, is that an Orrefors?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it was only 10K. It was included.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just pulling his, and I was like,
yeah,
it was only 10K, and he's like, it's pretty, but
yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And then I was
no, it's good. No, it's but also the fun thing there is that they started doing the gear shift to make hybrid, like their sustainable, like their electrical cars and hybrid cars. They wanted to make them more, the word they used were sexy and interesting. So they said, what is not Swedish and sexy and quality, that if not crystal? So that was how it started. Now I think they've added it to all of their cars, but back in the days, it was only if you bought an electrical car or a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid. Yeah, there you see. So there you see. So maybe it's still like that. So it's very exciting. No, but also one thing that people understand with like our brand is that, just want to add that, is that we talked about it briefly before, is that we stand on like 3 big legs. One being wholesale, retail, like retail stores, department stores. The other being corporate gifting, and the third being our own website. But what we're adding now that is super important for our future growth and be here for hopefully for 282 more years is interior designers and interior design stores. So that our new creative director that started 4 years ago, he comes from that world. So a lot of our new design that we're launching now is with the thought of interior designers growing that business, and interior design stores especially, because we're seeing that is a business that's really growing for us, and it's a very important way of working for our business, but also how people are working in major cities. So that's very exciting to see for us. So we're welcoming a lot of partnership with designers. That is very important and very, very interesting for us.
And that we are very grateful for. So thank you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're closing up to the finish line here. And I always have a segment. I know you've been watching my show, so we have this segment called 3 Quick Ones.
Yeah.
So and it's not super serious. So, but just first of all, the first question, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So favorite interior designer or designer overall, except for me then. But I mean, I know it's me, but any other designer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you favorite designer? Do you have
Within our brand, or can I choose anything?
anyone?
Oh, that's a good question. And this has to be quick also. I would say Bertil Wallin.
I agree. You know what?
Yeah, there's yeah,
There he is.
I would say because he
Yeah.
has if I can just add to it, he has a beautiful depth to everything he does. That every piece that the sculpture he makes has some kind of meaning or thought. Sometimes he does not share what he is thinking, but you can create there's an incredible depth in what he does. And
I agree.
if I choose an Orrefors one, I would say Ingegerd Roman. I love that she's the complete opposite, and she is the queen of minimalism, and with nothing doing a lot.
I agree. I mean, both of those designers are epic, is the word, I think. Yeah. So I don't know if you're super interested into interior design. I'm guessing, but is there anything when it comes to interior design that you're like, this is not coming into my home at all. This is fugly.
Yeah. No, not really. I'm quite open. You know, I'm not a big fan, and maybe I need to change this. But like, I like to. I just bought this beautiful big painting to my living room, and it's red and orange. It's a lot of color. But when it comes, I do like the Swedish, like a little bit like you. It's very behind yourself. Like I like to use a lot of basic colors like white and so, and then you can touch up with some details. So for me, I would never like do a big blue wall painted or like have those fond wall and that is a strong color. I rather touch up with a little bit color with the things that are on the wall, or maybe pillows or curtains, but trying to keep the base like the canvas quite white. I love white, but a lot of people when they come to my home is like, oh, you can understand that a Swedish person lives here. That's what people say.
I was just gonna say very Scandinavian, yeah.
Very Scandinavian.
Yeah. Okay, so the third question, and this is maybe the most important part, is your standard Starbucks order.
It's a flat white. If it's hot like now, it's iced, and it actually has 3 shots of espresso, and it's a short one, so it's very strong.
Very Scandinavian of you as well.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Emon. This has been so much fun.
It's an honor.
Yeah, where can we follow you, Kosta Boda, Orrefors, on the World Wide Web, social media? Yeah, so on Instagram, I would say it's the best. You have Kosta Boda _USA, and then you have Orrefors _USA. And then if you want to follow me, it's Emon Maasho with 2 A's, and that's my Instagram. So I think Instagram is the best way to reach us, but also LinkedIn, Orrefors Kosta Boda North America. We're trying to be very active there too. So yeah, Instagram and LinkedIn is the best way to reach out. And yeah, please feel free, if anyone has any questions, to reach out to me directly. Just happy to support. Great, perfect. Thank you so much. And for our audience, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to be on the show, please DM me at Christina Richardson Interiors. Thank you everybody who has been watching. I hope you got some great advice and that you feel super inspired. Thank you, Emon. It's been great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye. Bye-bye.
Protect your business. You've worked hard to build it. DSA Insure. Insurance for interior designers.